Happy day, students. Today we are going to see about some more concepts from light chapter, reflection and refraction, part 2. Refraction of light through a rectangular glass slab. We already discussed about refraction of light. Refraction of light, it is a bending of light, right? So it is moving from rarer medium to denser medium, or denser medium to rarer medium. So we are taking a glass slab. Okay, so when a ray of light passes through a rectangular glass slab, it gets bent twice at the glass air to glass interface and at the glass air interface. So it means that it is emerged ray is parallel to the incident ray and it is displaces through a distance. That means you can see this diagram, there is some incident ray which is incident on a glass slab. So we can say this is the rarer medium, right? It is air medium, rarer medium. So it is bending inside the glass slab. Again it is refracted in this one more line, and again it is displaced through a distance. So it is emerging in the other medium. So this is actually denser medium. Glass slab is a denser medium, right? So this is rarer medium. Is it clear? So incident ray and it is reflected or refracted inside the glass medium. Again it is emergent another medium, that is rarer medium. So what is the angle of incidence here? Angle of incidence is I in this point, and here the angle of refraction. So where is the refracted ray? This is the refracted ray, and again it is actually emergent in the another medium, which is the air medium. We call it as a rarer medium, right? So this is actually angle of emergence, and this is the displacement. So it's directly giving a one ray, and again it is refracted in the glass medium. Again it gives the another ray, that is emergent ray. So the displacement between this medium, we have a law of refraction of light, that is right? Incident ray, refracted ray and the normal to the interface of two transparent media at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. And also the ratio of the sine of angle of incidence to the angle of refraction is a constant. That means for the light of a given color and for the given pair of media, this law we call it as Snell's law of refraction. That means the ratio of sine I and sine R, which is equal to constant. This constant is nothing but mu. Mu is nothing but refractive index. We will discuss about in the next slide. Refractive index. So what it means, the law of refraction? Law of refraction is nothing but it is the incident ray, refracted ray and the normal to the interface of two transparent media. That means two transparent media means rarer and denser at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. And second thing, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence and the angle of refraction, which is equal to constant. This constant is nothing but it is mu, which is called it as refractive index. What is called refractive index? Refractive index is absolute refractive index of a medium is the ratio of speed of light in air or vacuum to the speed of light in medium. That means the ratio of the speed of light in air or vacuum or speed of light in the medium. That means mathematically we can write it as n is equal to c upon v. The relative refractive index of medium 2 with respect to a medium 1 is the ratio of the speed of light in medium 1 to the speed of light in medium 2. That means air medium or water medium or glass medium, that is we should compare with the mediums, right? So that is what the refractive index. So the refractive index, which is the medium 2 which is respect to the medium 1, that means it is equal to speed of light in medium 1 upon speed of light in medium 2. Also we can write it as n21, which is equal to v1 upon v2. Spherical lenses. We have discussed about mirrors. There is some principles and characteristic of mirrors. When coming to the point of lenses, we have some variation between mirror and lens. A spherical lens is a transparent material bounded by two surfaces, one or both of which are spherical. That means a spherical lens are two main types. One is convex lens, another one is concave lens. Convex lens is the thicker in the middle and thinner at the edges. Ray of light parallel to the principal axis after refraction through a convex lens meet at a point. That means it converge. You can see this is the convex lens. Okay, so this is the convex lens. What it means that at the middle of the point it will be thicker, and at the edges it will be thinner, right? So what the ray which is parallel coming from the source, and it is actually converging at the point, right? In concave lens, the middle of the point is thinner and at the edge is thicker. So ray of light parallel to the principal axis, you can see this is the principal axis, right? Axis after refraction, it is refracted inside it, it get diverged and appear to come from a point in the principal axis on the same side of the lens. Refraction by spherical lenses. Now we can see what are the rules we have to follow when you are analyzing the convex lens and concave lens. In a convex lens, a ray of light parallel to the principal axis after refraction passes through the focus on the other side of the lens. That means you can see this is the point which is taking place, and it is parallel to the principal axis, and after it is refracted through the convex lens, it is passing through at the focus on the other side of the lens. In concave lens, it appears actually diverging, so it is refracting at the other medium, it is actually virtual, and it is diverging in the same side of the lens. Second rule, in a convex lens, a ray of light passing through the focus after refraction goes parallel to the principal axis. In a concave lens, a ray of light directed towards the focus after refraction goes parallel to the principal axis. You can see there is a ray which is incident on the focus, and it is actually refracted on the other side of the lens, and it is parallel to the principal axis. Now we can compare with the convex lens and concave lens. When the ray is coming towards through the point of focus on the other side of the lens, and it is diverging and it is parallel to the principal axis. Third rule, in a convex lens and concave lens, a ray of light passing through a optical center goes without any deviation. So there is a refraction taking place in the lens through the pole. So at the center of the pole, both the lenses which is not deviating on the same side or the other direction. Image formed by convex lens. When the image is at infinity, the image is formed at the focus too. It is highly diminished, real and inverted. So the image is at infinity. What happened to this image formation for this convex lens? It is actually forming at the focus at f2, and it is converging at a point. So what is the image size? It is highly diminished and it is real and inverted. When the object is beyond 2f1, that means when I am keeping the object beyond 2f1, so where I am keeping here, there is a beyond that 2f1 means the ray which is passing through the pole, and another ray which is passing through the focus of the point, and it is forming on the other side of the lens, and if it is diminished, and it is real and inverted. It is inverted. And third rule, when the object is at 2f, so when the object is at 2f and the image will be formed at 2f2, the same distance, we can say it is the same size of the object, and also it is real and inverted. Fourth rule, when the object is between 2f1 and f1, the image is formed beyond 2f2, it is enlarged and real and inverted. So what it means that when you are keeping near to the lens, the image will be forming far away from the lens on the other side. So here in between you are keeping the object and the ray which is focusing on the or passing through the pole, and also it is passing through the focus too. And what is the image formation? It is enlarged and also real and inverted. Fourth rule, when the object is at f1, exactly it is f1, the image is formed at infinity. You can see which is very near to the pole. So what does mean that there is something highly enlarged. Okay, it is also real and inverted. And sixth rule, when the object is between f1 and O, the image is formed on the same side. So the object, this is the object, right? So this is the object, it is in between O and f1, that is very near to the pole. So what it means that the image is formed in the same side of the lens, and it is very enlarged, and we can say it is virtual and erect. It is virtual and erect. Image formed by convex lens, we can say that in a normal concave mirror and convex mirror, only convex mirror we have having a two image formation, as same as it is when you are coming to the lens, concave lens, only the two positions we can take a point. So when the object is at infinity, the image is formed at the focus f1 on the same side of the lens. It is highly diminished, virtual and erect. So this is the formation of the concave lens, because it is diverging and the image formation is same side of the lens, that is highly diminished, means point size, and it is virtual and erect. In second condition, when the object is between f infinity and f1, the image is formed between f1 and O. So this is my object which is placing infinity, so where the image is formed same, but it is diminished, virtual and erect. Sign convention for spherical lenses. The sign convention for spherical lenses are same as the spherical mirrors, except the distance or measure from the optical center. So what we have discussed there, we have considered the axis, the upward heights are positive, and we consider the distance of right and left, right towards light and towards left. Obviously it is equal for the mirror and lens, but one thing, except the distance or measure from the optical center. So this is the from the point you have to consider, means you should analyze it, which is the distance towards left or right. The focal length of the convex lens is positive, and the focal length of the concave lens is negative. So height downwards, when the image is forming on the other side, we should analyze it, and we have to write as a negative symbol. Okay. Lens formula for spherical lenses. The lens formula for spherical lenses is the relationship between the object distance, image distance v, and focal length. That means 1 by v minus 1 by u, which is equal to 1 by f. Magnification, how we can find out, that is produced by spherical lenses, that is height of the image upon height of the object. Okay, same as it is for mirror also. The magnification is related to the object distance and image distance. It can be expressed as h high and h o, which is equal to v minus u, that is image distance and also the object distance. Power of lens. Power of lens is the reciprocal of its focal length in meters, that is p is equal to 1 by f, or f is equal to 1 by p. The SI unit of power is diopter, or we can write it as capital D. The 1 diopter is the power of lens whose focal length is 1 meter. The power of a convex lens is positive, and the power of the concave lens is negative. So how we are actually using the spectacles, according to this power of lens, we can increase or decreasing the diopter level and the magnitude value. Thank you, students.